speak to Brian today. I asked him what the strength of the Yankees was going to be this year, and he focused on pitching.
Pitching. You know, the rotation and the bullpen, I think, will be this team's strength.
When you look at the other end of it, where are some concerns? When you look at this team and say, these are some areas we have to keep a close watch on.
I think we have a bench that's an area of concern, and I won't. Maybe concern is not the right word, but it hasn't fully declared itself yet. You know, we went into last 2 years with players like a Chavez. Last year obviously we had a Banez, and so a little bit more certainty in certain areas. But those answers could very well be right here before us, but we just have to play it out and let those declare themselves over time. So I think right now, some areas that are fair to question is what's coming, as the alternatives and the bench choices for Joe Girardi.
Brian, even teams that win World Series have some roster turnover. You lost some productive players. How confident are you that the answers are here in terms of filling the offensive void?
Well, I think offensively we will take a step backwards. We're going to be a little bit different. We certainly are going to have some downgrades at the catcher position and in right field and at third base with the losses of the combination that we got from Alex and Xavi, with what Swisher provided as a switch hitter with plate discipline and power, and obviously what Russell Martin provided with the power behind the plate. So I think that we have to make up with that with better defense, a quicker, faster base running team. The huge addition of getting Gardy back and left, I think, is going to make a huge impact for us, and our pitching, being as good as it can be. So it'll be different, but doesn't necessarily have to be collectively worse.
You've mentioned how the pitching is a strength of this team. You essentially return the same staff with Rivera replacing Soriano. Two guys I wanted to ask you about because they're coming back from surgery. CC Sabathia, Mariano Rivera. As you look at the springs that they are going to have and what they're going to have to do, how confident are you that you'll get their A-plus game, the pitchers that you need?
Well, I mean, when healthy, those guys don't fail. They don't have any history of failure, and so we just have to, their rehab is finished off, and now just take care of them as we go through the spring. But they're fully healthy, so there's no reason to believe that they won't have any success or the typical success we're accustomed to.
Another player who's going to be closely watched is Derek Jeter because he's coming off the ankle surgery. From what you've heard from Jeter, he says he thinks he's going to be able to play opening day. Do you share that thought?
No question about it. Unless there's some sort of new issue that develops, a groin, a hammy, those type of things that happen, unfortunately. There's every reason to believe he'll be fine. He's completely healthy now, and all this is about is preparing him for the season opener against Boston in New York. It'll be a different spring for him. I mean, our preparation for him will be different than in past springs because he's coming off of a broken ankle, but otherwise he's 100% healthy, and it's just being careful.
And the guy who normally would be 50 feet to Derek's right is Alex Rodriguez. He obviously coming back from the hip surgery. How do you deal with the entire Rodriguez situation that is going on in 2013?
Well, I mean, give him the best medical care possible. He had what we believe is a successful surgery, and now looking forward to very hard, successful rehab. And if everything goes as planned, Dr. Kelly believes he'll be back towards us in the All-Star break range. In terms of the off-the-field controversial stuff, can't comment on what you don't know, and Major League Baseball is fully investigating. And obviously, since the player is not available to us as a player regardless right now, and he's actually rehabbing in New York, none of these things are in the forefront for us, and we'll just wait for Major League Baseball's investigation to conclude.
Another player who's not available to you right now, but should be this season, is Michael Pineda. What kind of script do you hope plays out for Pineda this year?
Well, I mean, I hope we, get exactly what we traded for, just a year later. He had a very unfortunate injury and surgery, and it's one with no guarantees. In Jeter's case, you have a predictable outcome. In Mariano's case, there's a predictable outcome. In CeCe's case, there's a predictable outcome. That's not the case when you're dealing with shoulder surgery. So Michael Pineda is having a very good rehab. He's now on top of the mound, and he's pushed himself closer and closer. But until he's, off the disabled list and pitching to the level he had been before the injury, it's going to be a question mark.
no predictable outcome in any baseball season, but wrapping up here with you, as you look at what you guys achieved last year, get to the ALCS, but you fall 8 wins short of that ultimate goal. What has to go right for the 2013 Yankees to be a better team than 2012, be a championship team?
Well, I mean, obviously, we have to qualify for the playoffs. The best way to do that is win the division, and then, just you have to bring your best A game in October, and we didn't do that. I mean, frustration level is there because the Tigers didn't really face the Yankees. The Tigers, they had something to do with that, but they didn't have everything to do with that. We just, we had 2 4-game losing streaks in season last year, and we had a 4-game losing streak in October when we played the Tigers in the ALCS, and we just didn't put our best foot forward and didn't play our best baseball. And yeah, I give them a certain amount of credit, but we also, we also failed to live up to our abilities for that particular week, and that's frustrating. So, obviously we got to get ourselves in a position to play in October, and if we can do that, we just have to, take advantage of that, and we didn't.